Mufelola, hello, welcome, good evening. Shegun Fatuma, welcome, good evening. Rochelle White, welcome. Omonike, welcome. Bidemi, welcome. Daniela Senga, nice to see you. Well, we are into a very interesting show today. So you want to go and share the link immediately because this message is going to be revolutionary and it's going to be mind-blowing to a lot of people. So better go share it so that you get a copy. That's how you get a copy of this message, if you press the share button. So press the share button so that you'll be able to have a copy of this message. And as any other person I've not greeted there, yep. Daniela Senga, Theophilus, Ngoya Sharis, Michael Babs, Adiola Disu, Olukayode is there. She Sandra, Obi Ojimadu is here from Poland. Charles Tengio, Lucinda, Jide Craig, Alice Obazi. Welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well. I'm not here by myself. Give you a little bit of shock. Normally when people see me, they see me among the Ukrainian church members. Now you see me among, not church members, but my own people. They look like me, all of them. You see me among my own people. Sorry, Ukrainians, but you cannot change the leopard skin, you know. The Ethiopian will always be an Ethiopian. So you see me among my own people here. Normally people think I don't have black people. You see them now. They are not my members, but some of them are. But still, you know, happy to feel at home. Happy to feel at home here. This is in Ukraine. This is not in Africa. This is in Ukraine. Yeah, it's in Ukraine. This is in Ukraine. This is HMT for students. So most of these people here are students who study here from different countries, mainly African countries. And so they study here in Ukraine. And I guess they have some few days of holidays they decided to spend with me. And so we are doing HMT together with them. Then we have someone from Nigeria, from the homeland. That is Ireti. Will you start? You want to greet our people here? Hello. The people, you've not even introduced yourself to the students as well. This is Mrs. Ireti here. Then, of course, we have Anastasia McDonald. Will you stand somewhere there? Check. Wait for us. No, with your two hands. Be more extravagant. Yeah. Be more outgoing and extravagant. Yeah. And then we have Kenny as well from England. Yeah. Okay, so we have a full house today. So you will know it's not just me here. I'm not just by myself today. I'm not by myself today. So this is my broadcast. We are going to integrate it together with HMT for these wonderful people that are here with me. So welcome to our own reality. We have our own reality here. And people are saying we love you all. So let's quickly go and share the link to this message. Please go and share the link to this message. And let me quickly say this. For those of you who were not here last night, that was the 1st of January. I gave a word which is already been tagged as classic, one of the most important messages that has been given in this age. It's called 15 Reasons Why we pastors must change our messages. So in the new year. And that video should be somewhere here on the timeline. If you go to the video section, you will see the message for yesterday evening, for yesterday night, 15 reasons why we pastors must change our messages. Go copy it, go press the share. Go press the share button there so that you could get a copy. It's going to become a classic. Most people are downloading it. And so I just want to warn you. So if you missed last night, you want to go back and copy that message right now. Now, tonight, let's also copy this particular link before we start. I don't know how good this one is going to be, but let's start first, and then after, if it's going to be as good, then we'll let you to also spread the word. So here we are. So welcome everybody, both on Facebook and in my house. Welcome everyone. Like I said, the message today, I've not declared the message. The message today is kickstart. Kickstart your new year with the power of restraint. Kickstart your new year with the power of restraint. There is something that is called the power of restraint, or the principle of restraint. So that is a power. This not the miracle working power that one. This one works another kind of miracle. This one works the real miracle, the miracle that will change you, the miracle that will transform you. Not the miracle that you get without doing anything, no, but the miracle that will transform you to the image of God and to the kind of person that God wants you to be. So the power of restraint, you could use it actually to target your goals and your purpose, and you could use this power to actually accomplish the goal or the purpose that you have set before yourself. So use the power of restraint to kickstart your year, and to elevate yourself, and to put yourself in a place that you would like to be in this year. You know, most of the time people start new year and are hoping that things will work out the way they are planning that it will be. They're just hoping. Now, you don't just have to sit down and hope anymore. You could actually kickstart the year knowing exactly what is waiting for you. In the morning, I had a message. So I'm all this month, this whole January, I'm going to be giving you principles of how to make your year special and how to get your dreams met in this year. So this whole month, 2 times a day, I'm going to be coming to you and telling you how to make your dreams come to pass, how to fulfill your aspirations with your own hands. So yes, take charge of your life. So that is the topic for this whole week. You know, take charge of your life. You can build your own destiny. You can build your own success. You can build your own aspiration. You can become anything you want to become. We just apply the principles of truth that God has already revealed to us. So the principle that we spoke about in the morning is the power of process. How process could help you to create the kind of life that you want for yourself. Today, right now, this evening, I'm going to be talking about another power, another secret. The power of restraint, and how the power of restraint could help you to become anything that you wish to become in your own life. So what is restraint? That's where we should start from today. What is the power of restraint? And where is that power coming from? Because that restraint delivers to you energy. Restraint is an energy, is a power that gives you the energy to be able to fulfill your dream. Restraint, it is the principle that empowers you and gives you the ability to be able to mobilize the reserve energy, the latent energy in you, so that you could use it to accomplish any goal and any purpose that you wish to accomplish in your life. So, how to use the power of restraints to catapult yourself into the new year. I like that one better. How to use the power of constraint to catapult yourself into the new year. To just explode into the new year. And to make your new year explosive. So what is restraint? The power of restraint is the ability for you to be able to look inside yourself and derive the energy that is needed to restrain yourself or hold back yourself from the process of empathy, the process of entropy, from the process of degeneration. So you could use the power of restraint to hold yourself away back from entropy, back from regeneration, to limit the power of regeneration over your life, to limit the power of backwardness in your life, to limit the power of distraction in your life. I think that's the most important one. So you could use the power of restraint to guard yourself against all forms of distraction. You could use the power of restraint to protect your mind, to protect yourself from all forms of distraction. You can use the power of restraint to protect your mind from unprofitable exercises and thoughts and things that would not profit you. Also, you could use the power of restraint to guard your vision, your purpose, your goals, to protect your goals, your vision. So the power of restraint is a latent energy, power that is lying in all of us that we use sometimes, but we use restraint mainly just to deal with sin most of the time. But the form of, the way I want to approach the power of restraint today is not just that you could use restraint to deal with sin, not to do bad things, but you could actually use that power, that energy that comes from the power of restraint or from restraints to actually catapult yourself into the future, to actually do what you did not imagine that you could do. You could actually use it for acceleration. You could actually use the power of restraint, not just for acceleration, but you could actually use it for productivity. You can use the power of restraint for mobility, for explosion, for increase in productivity. But you people, you students are looking at me and I'm almost feeling like stopping and explaining everything I'm saying. Maybe I'm going too far. Are you okay? Yes. Okay. I hope you people on the Facebook also are fine. I hope I'm not being too philosophical here with you or too complex. So I'm just introducing you to a new concept. So the power of restraint, you could call it in the Bible, in Proverbs, it could call self-control or things like that, temperate, So, but this is much more than self-control and temperate. This is including temperate, it's including self-control, it's including perseverance, it's including stamina, it's including persistence, it's including, all that put together. So I would rather use the power, the word restraint for it, combining and composing all that together. And also it's much more modern. And also it could be proven because it's much more scientific as well. So it's much more applicable for everybody. Either you're a Christian, you are not Christian. And then it's applicable not just for the Christian life, not to smoke or not to drink and not to sleep around, right? It could also be used to actually accomplish stuff and to actually, make your goals come to pass, to actually use it in real life. You could actually use the power of constraint in your field, in your area of influence, in your calling. You could use it in your profession. You could use it in your aspirations in life. You could use it in your job or in your work or in your vision that you have or in your dreams. So possibilities are all out there for us. So new year, it's good that you are starting the new year with these principles. So now you are not here this morning, unfortunately, but some of you are here this morning and you got one principle that you could use to kickstart your year. Now, see, this is another principle that you could use to actually explode, to make your life explode through the power of constraints. So the power of constraint is the energy that we have in us that we could actually guard and direct. So it's the ability to direct the latent energy in you, to use it to limit yourself from distraction, and to hold back yourself from distraction, and to also hold back yourself from entropy. Now, you know what entropy is? Yeah, so entropy is the farther you go, it's like energy. The farther the energy goes away from the source, the weaker it becomes, it loses energy. So the same, the farther we go away from God, and that's the source of energy, right? It's the source of life. And the weaker we become, the less energy, the less life of God that we are. So that is entropy. So entropy is the natural weakness that happens to you just because you are going further and further. Just like with the children, right? With children, because they are just coming away from the source of life from their parents and from God. The children are not normally depressed. They are not, they are running about laughing and they don't have problems. But we, the older you grow, the more you go away from the beginning, from your roots, from your source. When you are 5 and when you are 15, you are 15 years away from the root, from where you started, from your source. So that the reality of the world is already consuming you more than the reality of where you're coming from. So that's what it's called entropy. You begin to be worried about one thing or the other. You begin to be sick. You begin to get depressed. You begin to be unhappy. That is what we call entropy. Now, the power of restraint could control entropy. That's what I meant, that I felt like explaining everything I've been saying to you, more, so that it will be easier. So also, the more you grow and the more you are exposed to reality of what is happening in the world, the more you are distracted. At least, even if you have, at least the only one distraction, let me just mention one distraction, smartphones. But you know what will help you to deal with your smartphone and to use it more constructively for purpose instead of for vanity? Is the power of constraint. So this is so strong what we are talking about. The power of constraint is falling back to that latent energy that is in you and using it intentionally, purposefully, directing it, falling back at it and pulling it to use it to make sure that is guiding you to the goal and purpose that you yourself had originally set for yourself. So instead of you to just be losing a loose life, that is, like the wind is just blowing you left and right, because when you don't have the power of restraint, you are easily blown, tossed to and fro, and not necessarily doing bad things, but you could be thrown, and tossed to and fro, doing good things, but at the same time wasting your life. So the power of constraint is very important that you have it and you know how to use it in the new year that we are entering into right now. So the power of constraint will help you to be able to hold back from all forms of deterioration and hold you back from the power of entropy, hold you back from the power of distraction, and then help you to be able to focus all your energy to do the kind of thing that you want to do. So if you want to talk in another way, the power of constraint could be called also the ability to use boundaries, the ability to use boundaries to your benefit. The ability to use boundaries for your benefit. The ability to take advantage of boundaries and turn it to your advantage, to take a hold of boundaries and use it as a weapon. As a weapon of productivity, boundaries. So these are powerful concepts. It's called the power of constraint. I tell you what, the most productive people in this world are the people who have discovered the power of constraint. You know, when Bill Gates was in the university, he was actually very brilliant in high school. So he was admitted into Harvard. Harvard is the dream of every young man. For you to be admitted there after college or after high school, you must really be smart. So not after first degree, but immediately. So he was smart. But you know what he discovered? He discovered that by him going to the classes to study what he was studying, he was actually being distracted. He had such a huge force and, of constraint within himself already, that his own power and force of constraint was much more stronger than the culture of constraint that the university, the Harvard, was offering him. In fact, because his own level was so much higher that he could afford to just neglect and stop going to classes and even not finish his degree. Because, so some people will ask me, some people always ask me and say, can I stop going to, I have a calling, or I want to do this, I want to do that. Can I stop my degree? Can I stop? I said, yes, because they always tell me, but Bill Gates, Steve, whatever, Mark Zuckerberg and others, they didn't finish university and they are doing great. I say yes, but only under certain conditions. The first condition is that these people that you are talking about, they had a high level of restraint in them. They have discovered that power of restraint. Actually, as a matter of fact, university is supposed to build into us this element of constraint. This is one of the reasons we go to universities. In fact, this is one of the reasons we go to school in general. One of the factors that one of the things that we go to achieve in schools is not just knowledge. Because most of the knowledge that you have been given in classes, you don't even remember them anymore. And by the time you finish your school, it's after 6 years, you will not even remember what was there, first course, second course. You are only remembering this one for you to give exam. That's it. And once you've given the last exam, everything evaporates, believe me. So even people who are teaching you, they know that as well. But that is so the university and education, going to school, university institutions and all that, what they give you, one of the most powerful things that they are meant to give to you is not knowledge, because you could get knowledge by yourself anywhere as well. But one of the greatest things that they're supposed to give you in university and education in general is, institutions, universities or educational institutions or tertiary institutions or things like that. What the most important thing that they're supposed to give to you is to develop and call forth the power of restraint in you. That is why you must go to classes. Some of your education you must show up in classes. And some of your education, you must, that is why they have in primary school, secondary school, university, you have what you call curricular. You have what they call classes. You have what they call lectures. You have to go and listen to your lecture. You have to go and, so what is that cultivating in you? The ability for you not to do what you want. The ability for you not to follow the threats of your body or the tendencies of your body or emotions or feeling. Not for you not to just let your life be thrown at a free flow. So by the time you finish after 6 years in university, you have developed a culture of a stamina, a culture of doing things that are needed and necessary to be done, not necessarily the things that you feel like doing. So that is one thing that educational institutions are supposed to give to you that is stronger than ordinary knowledge. And that is called, they want to develop in you the ability for you to use constraints to put your life in order. they are developing in you the ability for you to have some certain degree of restraint. But people who teach you in university, they don't know that. And they don't tell you that. They just know that this is the way the program has been set up. The people who know what I'm telling you now are only people who set up educational system initially. System education altogether. So that's why, just like I used to teach some subjects here, and I tell them the reason for physics and mathematics. And you see people who finish, in fact, my friend that is a professor of physics in America and chemistry, he said, I never understood physics and mathematics until I met Pastor Sunday. Because they don't tell them, even if it's a professor, but they're just teaching what they read and just subject. But they don't tell you why. So there are some people now in schools and primary school and secondary school, they say, I'm smart, I can just give exams. Why should I go to classes? But they don't know that it's not for exams that you go to classes. Some other people will say, but why should I go to classes? But I can read it. Is it not the same book? I can read the same book now by myself. But it's not because of the knowledge that you go to classes. Some people might even say, that professor, I even know more than himself. So why should I even go? But it's not because of the professor that you show up in classes. There is something underneath. There is something underlining that has been built into educational system. That for you to be able to say, I will not go to classes, you must make sure that you have discovered a stronger force of restraint in yourself. Stronger than what the university is trying to teach you to do. What does that mean? That means that you have a stronger ability to manage your emotions, your feelings, and the intricacies of what is happening around you, that you always would do what is right. Because of the energy and the power of restraint that you have built into yourself, so much that you never ever go wrong. That is what people like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and Zuckerberg and others, that's what they have discovered. They have developed in themselves the strong power of restraint. So strong that if they needed to attend, let's say 40 hours of classes, assume 40 hours of classes in a week, they have developed such a strong constraint that they don't just do 40 hours. They on their own do 80 hours of self-development, of working on themselves, of doing what is right. So why this university is demanding 40 hours, they are doing 80 hours, it's a waste of time. Because they will go and sit down there and do nothing and just be talking. By the time they work, by the time they travel, they are seeing those things as distractions. So each one of them going to their own garage or somewhere, you have rather go. These people have developed in themselves so much constraint that they could sit in the garage or in the underground of their house or their parents' house or in the car garage for 18 hours, 20 hours. But for normal human beings and normal students, they cannot sit down in the laboratory of library for 18 hours, and they are not being taught to do that. And there are no teachers going to cross-check that. And there are no marks, connected to it. There is no exam connected to it. Just by themselves. That's what's called the power of constraint. So that's what I want to tell you today. If you would discover and unleash your own force of constraint, for you to be able to make yourself subjected. That is what it means. You subject your own self, your will, your wishes, your emotions, and the things going around you, you subject them to the power of the goal and vision that you want to attain. You make yourself, your desires even, and your emotions to become slave to the goals and the aspirations that you have set before yourself. So even though you yourself want to go ahead and party or you go and go do happy birthday to some people, but because you have subjected yourself to the power of constraint, you have submitted your own self to the superiority of the vision that you have set before yourself, you could easily say no. No party, no birthday, no friends wedding, and you are not feeling guilty for it. These are the kind of, that's what it means, the power of constraint. And that's what those people had. So even when they were having holidays in Harvard, or the whole country was having holidays, these people with high level of the power of constraint, they never have holidays. And that is one thing you will see with millionaires and billionaires. They never have holidays. But when they declare national holidays and their workers are not working, it's a catastrophe for them. Because they have such a high degree of restraints already developing them. So what that means is people who are high achievers, people who we admire and we look up to, that they are successful people, they have developed in themselves such a huge force of constraint that it enables them to be able to not to behave like most of us behave. And it enables them to be able to do not the things that they want to do. They have made themselves to become servants of their own vision. And not public opinion and what people say is not as relevant to them. Because they have made their goal, whatever they want to attain, to be superior to all the pressures that are coming from friends and relatives. So when they declare public holiday everywhere else, and like New Year now, some people didn't work for a week, some people didn't work for 3 days, 4 days. But for people who have developed high level of restraints, they are locked up in some hotels or in some garages somewhere. And they are doing their thing. In fact, to them, they are even happy that there are no distractions. That they don't have to go to work or go out or do anything. And if there are people working for them, they are angry and say, why should you go? That is what the force of restraint will do for you. The force of restraint. Now, let me give you an illustration about restraint here. Where is my friend there? What's your name? Huh? Frank, come. To give example here, I'm going to use an illustration here. I need like 10 people, 5 here, 5 here. You are going to form a rope area, a corridor. Yeah, opposite each other. Down to my goal is the shelf over there. That's my goal. So 5 or maybe 10 there, 10 here. 10 this side, 10 that side. You must form a corridor so that there is, a corridor to lead me right over there. Stretch down to the what? Yeah. And hold yourself, or you can hold your hands. Each one of you, hold your hands like this. A corridor, you are forming a corridor, yeah. Yes, that's it. So this corridor that we have here, this is a wall. Right wall, left wall. So these walls, they are my restraints. This is my restraint right there. Over there is the rest of the world. Over there is the rest of the world. My family, friends, relatives, the world, the internet, everybody. But because my goal is that tall thing that is on the wall there, are you sure my voice will be getting? Show the wall. Can you see the corridor? Yeah. So that's the corridor there. So this is the corridor. Now, if without the corridor, I could be looking here and going, oh, hello, Mama Tina. Hello, Mama Tina. But because of the wall, I'm not distracting seeing Mama Tina there, and Uncle John there, and Uncle Samuel there, and cousin Abraham there. So this is constraint. So this, what I'm talking about is that you all must be able to build. And later on, towards the end, I will tell you what areas of your life you have to build constraints in. All right? So I will tell you where you must develop those constraints. But I'm just giving you the concept right now of constraint. So you must be able to surround yourself with this kind of system of constraints. Because sometimes, just to depend on the energy and the power of constraint is not enough. So sometimes it's even better to build constraints all around you. So that way, even when there is you don't have the willpower to fall back to on your constraint, but the things that you have built around this different sphere of your life, they will guide you. So you'll be able to go and attain your goal right there. Straight, no distraction. So you are very focused. You don't see anybody, no world. This is your own world. You live in your own world. So people who build their own constraint, who live in constraint, they live in their own world. They are focused. Everybody is saying they are mad. Like that's why I gave you the example I gave you today. That somebody said, Pastor Sunday, what are you teaching now? You are no more a Christian. I said, yes, I'm no more. I'm no more in your group. I'm no more in your club. Since I started doing just the Christian posting on my Facebook, you know how much I have grown? I used to have 50,000 people on my Facebook. And since in 1 year, February, I started in February 2015, almost 2 years now. I have grown. You know how much people I have reached now? 250 million, 250 million people. Because I'm not doing religious thing anymore. That is 20% of the whole of Facebook, the whole population of Facebook. For you to do unprecedented things, and I'm here in this house. This house itself is a constraint, it's a system of constraint for me. It's my own prison yard. I built this for myself. So that I don't go anywhere. I don't know if they have theaters in this country or not. I am not aware. I don't know if they have cinemas in this country or not. I don't know if it's there or not. I don't know if they do parties in this country or not. I don't even know. I don't know if they do birthdays and marriages. If you want to do your marriage, come here to me. I don't know if they do conferences anywhere or not. That if you want to do your conference, come here. I have my own, everything has to be submitted. Even me myself, I'm submitted to my own constraint. Talk less of you. Everything has to be submitted to that constraint. That is what gives you. Because you move faster this way than, okay, let's just scatter yourself anyhow. Block the road and scatter yourself anyhow. So if I want to now go like this, see, without any constraint, I have just messed up. I'm just messed up. Sometimes I'll go this way. Sometimes I say, distractions. No constraints. Anything just throw me anywhere. I can stand here and begin to talk to this one. Or stand here and say, oh boy, no road. No pathway to get to the way I'm going to. No destination. I even forget. Sometimes you yourself forget your destination. That is when you live without the power of constraint. You yourself even forget that you are living for something on the road. It's just like you are just here, just walking around, because everybody is walking around. So you are also walking around without the power of constraint. You are lost in the whole wide world. Sometimes you have goal, you are ambitious now, and then you forgot. And then you are distracted. And then somebody invited you. And then you want to marry. Then you want to have children. Then you want to do this. Things are there, ready-made to distract you. That's why you must develop your power of constraint consciously and use it for your purpose. For the purpose for which God created you and sent you to this world. Give the Lord a round of applause. Thank you. I don't know if our guys over there on Facebook are getting it or not. Are you people still there? Are you getting anything? Yeah, I think they are. Okay, let me show you areas where you will need to build constraints around yourself and in your life. Oh, Caleb is even here. Wow, I don't see you normally here, Caleb. Pastor Caleb Asaboro. Yeah. He doesn't always, I don't see him in my live program, but he probably knows that people from all over Ukraine are here. Okay, here we go. So where and how, or where should you build constraint? And then what? And then what aspect of your life must you build a system of constraint? Number one, you must build a system of constraint around let me do it this way. You must apply the power of constraint to manage your desires and aspirations. You must use the power of constraint intentionally. You must inform yourself and speak to yourself that I am not going to accept all desires that come to me. I am not going to embrace all aspirations. I am not going to just fall for anything. I am going to determine my own aspiration. And it's going to be in line with what God told me to do. So I must discover what God wants me to do and put it down as my only desire and aspiration. Every other thing, let them be somebody else's aspiration, not my own aspiration. But you must be sure of what you want to attain, and where you are going with your life, where you want to go, what you want to have with your life. Put a deadline to it. That by the time I'm 30, I want to have this goal. By the time I'm 40, I want to have this result. And these are the things that I must do before these things come. So you must be able to use the power of restraint to hold yourself back from everybody else's dreams and aspirations. You know, so many people today have the aspiration of marrying and setting up a family. You know, it is not because it's their own God. That's what God told them. You know, it's God. I think many people, God never even tell anybody to marry or not to marry. There are two forces that make people to want to marry. First of all, of course, the instinct, the power of instinct that is working against them from inside them, because they want to avoid sin. So a lot of people are marrying because they don't want to sin. If they had been having an option not to sin, and they would have preferred not to marry. So, therefore, it's not your decision in that particular situation. It is sin that decided for you. Now, sin they be your determining factor. Sin is your master in that particular instance. So you didn't decide. So you did not use any constraint at all. You just submitted. You just surrender. Raise your hand and say, yes, I am 30. So it's not head, no even come near. Common sense doesn't come near at all. It's just the fact that I am 30 already, or, these sexual urges are troubling me too much. And then you went and just married, and you submitted and you subjected a woman, another human being, to a lifelong something of suffering, and you are making each other suffer. One day is you will cry and fight and conflict. The next week is the other one that will fight, the woman that will fight and conflict. So you just torture each other for the next 40 years of your life. Then some of you will come and go have children, and go and give birth to children that you are even adding to the suffering list. And those children are wondering, why did you, Papa, Mama, why did you even bring me to this world, self? If you are going to be complaining every day, there is no money for this, there is no money for this. So that did I ask you to bring you here? And so why am I the one to blame? Oh, it's because of you children. No, it's because of you children that I'm doing it. Is it my fault? That is when people didn't do their homework well. When they fall into the pressure, under the pressure of doing things that the society does. Everybody must marry at 30 or 40, so I must marry. So they don't even exercise restraint, or even their own decision is not involved. Another reason why people just do all kind of things, oh, I'm going to have children, I'm going to do this. Apart from the instinct, is the pressure from the society, from parents, from relatives, from this and that. So you have to go and put yourself in a lifelong prison yard called marriage. Because you want to please, you don't want people in your village to keep on talking that he's 40 and he's not married. Or she's 40 and she's not married. So you go and submit yourself into the bondage that does not even allow you to fulfill your own calling and reason why God called you into the world in the first place. But when you are using the power of restraint, you don't allow yourself to fall into situations without taking the decision yourself. You take an informed decision. So that's what I mean, that this one area where you must, you know that in our culture, if you are a millionaire and you are not using big cars and having big house, people will be laughing at you. What kind of millionaire is Mark Zuckerberg and he's just wearing jeans and t-shirts everywhere? He's not enjoying life because he's using the power of constraint to monitor his aspirations and his desires. Even in New York, he's taking metro underground to job, to work. Because he has decided to be in charge. It is my decision if I'm going to use Mercedes-Benz or metro. It is my decision if I'm going to use, or I'm going to dress like a celebrity. So he has so much restraint that everything is submitted to the passion and goal. That is the kind of drive that he had during university days. That's why he could stop the university education and go and get his goals met. So the same way he's living up to now, even after the billions are there. He is not letting go his restraints. The same thing with Bill Gates. You see him as if he's not even the richest man in the world. Because they have the restraint. So that's why they don't truncate their money. That's why they don't throw away their money all up and down. They never lose their money. But other people who didn't develop that power of restraint, they eventually lose their money. They used to be rich, they go to bankruptcy today, bankruptcy tomorrow, because they had never developed the power of restraint. So the power of restraint must be developed to monitor even your desires and aspirations. A lot of the desires that we have is just to please other people. Some of you, in fact, are going to church today because you are pleasing somebody else. So it must be an informed decision. Some of you are, doing what you are doing today just because some of you, in fact, you would like to be at home and have solitude alone with God and develop yourself. But because of all the, pressure from outside, you cannot even afford to do it. So you don't have power of, over your own desires and aspirations. You are not in charge. Your relatives are in charge, your friends are in charge, the community or the environment is in charge, but not you. So that is what the power of restraint is for. The power of restraint will help you to be able to say, Pastor, I love you, but I have my priority right now. There are some people that if they miss Sunday and they tell pastor that the reason I miss Sunday is because I was on solitude praying. The pastor will say, what kind of solitude? So people will say, how can you go and find God while I'm here, where the church is supposed to be? So people have elevated church service over God himself. What solitude? And you miss Sunday service. What kind of solitude? What kind of God are you looking for where your pastor has not allowed you? So, one area where you must, but the pressure that come from people from outside, they are even little, they are even nothing compared to the pressure that comes from within us for us not to be able to do what we would like to do. What makes us to compromise most of all are the things that we have not been able to put restraint in within ourselves. So we must be able to put restraint to all the things, the forces that are pushing us the other side and the other direction. We must be able to apply restraint so that restraint will hold us back from the entropy of doing the opposite things that are the opposite things to my vision and dreams and goals. So you must determine what you want to achieve in your life, what you want to attain. And you must submit to yourself and to God that all other things are secondary to these things. And this goal that I've set before me this new year is my priority. Every other thing is supposed to push it forward. That is what you use the power of restraint to do. To push forward the vision, the goal, the ambition, the target that you have put before yourself. And you use that same power of restraint to downplay all others and to close your ears and at all other aspirations that have been sold to you and suggested to you, both from your flesh or from your mind or from your people around you or from an environment. You put them under submission. And you use the power of, each time you want to feel the opposite, you push yourself to do what needed to be done. That is using the power of restraint to attain your goals rather than, to compromise the purpose and the goal that God has put in your heart to do. So number one thing is that you use the power of restraint, the force of restraint, to control desires and aspirations, both your own, others, apart from the main thing God wants you to do, and then those ones coming from all around you. The next thing you do, you use the power of restraint to do, is that you use the power and force of restraint to control your mind. I tell people this: try your best never to just think on anything that comes to your mind. Put restraints in your thinking process and put strong restraints in your thinking faculty. How do you do that? The way to do that is you must determine and decide for yourself 3, not maximum 5, between 3 to 5 priorities, the only thing you are thinking about in your life. That you will never allow this your head and this your brain to entertain any thought that does not fall into that 3 or 5 category. Let's say 3 categories. You don't allow anything to come to your head that don't fall into these 3 categories. Can you imagine if you begin to live your life and the only 3 things you are thinking about every day? That is like a laser brace. That's like it's going to just sharp, it's called in Nigeria. It's going to be giving you sharp result. You are going to be having a laser guided result. Because can you imagine how much energy we are spending on just controlling all millions of thoughts every day? There are a minimum 60,000 suggestions that come every second, 2-3 minutes to the mind of everybody. 60,000. Can you imagine if you because if you don't have a guide, if you don't put a restraint like that, you will just be doing something like this, you are going to yours go and you are gone. You just sitting down like this, you don't even know what you are thinking about. You think, how did I even get here in the first place? Because your own head has become free flow for everything, free traffic. You know what I use to describe this for my members? I say, we all of you are condemning prostitutes who work in the brodel. Now, what is it that with prostitutes who are working in the brodel? Where is my guy here? Frank, yeah? Yes, sir. Take the thing again. Yeah. Now, Oh, I shouldn't use a woman for prostitute. Otherwise, you will get the wrong message. Eh? You are a woman. Because if I take a girl now, I will be in trouble. So you will forgive. I mean, you are a man. So, but we will say, let's say you are working in the brothel, right? And as a prostitute. Now, what is it that is unique or bad about people working, about someone working, a woman working as a prostitute? We condemn them, and we think she's doing a bad thing by working in the brothel as a prostitute. What is really bad about that, apart from the societal, condemnation, is that the evil of working as a prostitute is that because you have declared that you are a prostitute, you must open your legs for anybody that is passing around. Let's say this is the brothel here. Anybody that is just passing across, that's any human being. You don't know if it's demon possessed. You don't know if it's Shango that is in it, or Richard that is in it, or anything. All kind of demons in that person. That person just see that this is a brothel and this is a free prostitute here. She's what? That person can enter into you, and all his demons just unload them on you. So, and then because you are working in that brothel, you don't have the right to say you don't like this one. You must like by force. So you cannot even pick. You cannot even say the one you like or the one you don't like. You cannot even say you refuse. That is the horrible thing about brothel prostitutes, about prostitution in general. So it means you must open your life, your intimacy, your secrecy to anyone, anybody that passes by, any passerby, any crazy. In fact, the person might be the crazy, the madman in town. As long as he has his money, you don't have any option. You will be seen that he is a madman, no? And you will still have to open those legs. So, to be a prostitute is one of the most horrible things that could happen to a human being. And we should pity people like that. We should be pitying them. And we should be praying for them. We should be helping them. So, because anything could just enter into them. It is like snakes and scorpions entering. Not just entering into your hand, or into your nose, but into your most sacred of all places. Your private. And you know the way women respond when even ants or fly, falls on their head. They get angry and passionate, they get irritated and panicky and anxious. But this one, she doesn't have any option. It's a horrible life. And so it's a free flow, free entrance, free use. So the door is so open door policy. That's what prostitutes are. Now listen to me. Another reality of that could be compared to prostitution is a man or woman that does not have a restraint system over and around his mind. So that brothel is your mind. That brothel is your mind. If you don't have a system of restraint across and around your mind, if you don't have those three things I said, 3 to 5 policy, only those things, you must have a principle. You must have policy that only these 3 or to 5 things I'm thinking about. If you don't have them, that's your brothel. Our own brothel is for physical. Your own brothel is you are carrying in your head everywhere. It's like a public house. It's like a public prostitution center, your head. Because the thought that will be coming to you, there will be some of them will be as worse as the one of the prostitute for real. Or even worse. Because you didn't put a restraint system in your mind. You know what kind of thought will useless you, Thought will just, you even don't recognize yourself. Thank God God doesn't allow us to see thoughts. Yes. If God had allowed us to see thoughts, you don't even want to imagine what is happening to some people with thoughts. Some of them will go and commit suicide before people know. Because you are thinking they are so good. So, but that is what happens to people who don't have a restraint system upon their mind. So if you don't have your own, you must develop until now. You must begin to think about developing. So you have to think about 3 most important matters that you want to allow in your life. Maybe I will just tell you my own 5 things that I think about, that I allow myself to think about. Outside of these 5 things, I never allow myself. There could be exceptions, very rarely. But otherwise, I don't intentionally allow myself to think outside of these 5 things. And 5 because of who I am, because I am, But for you people who are young people, maybe 3 is enough. Number 1 thing that Pastor Sunday think about. Number 1 thing that Pastor Sunday allows himself to think about, is how to love God more. I am always thinking on daily basis. I'm always tasking myself and thinking and looking and researching how I could love God more. Number 2, how I could better serve my family and better love and serve my family. Number 3, I'm always looking for strategies, projects on how to subdue my word to the influence of the kingdom. How to promote the kingdom of God. That's my number 3. And how to make the kingdom of God rule supreme in my generation. Both in my lifetime and when I'm gone. So those are things I'm working on every single day. Those are my top 3 stuff. Number 4, my 4th topic is I'm constantly working on how I could become imitator of God. But I want so much that by the time I die, people will be confused. Who is this going? Is it Jesus or Pastor Sunday? So I'm working on that constantly, and I'm looking for a way to always work on that more. Then number 5, I'm always constantly looking for a way to serve other people, to serve humanity. All other things, either it's through politics, or it's through money, or it's through business, or it's through other things. Under each one of these things, each one of these 5, there could be 100 different topics, okay? But those are just my own, but the purpose is clear. So these things, they are my instruments of constraint. And they hold me back from all other millions and billions of topics and thoughts that are out there. So I'm always having healthy thoughts. You ask people who are around me, you could never find Pastor Sunday to say, you are talking to me and say, sorry. I never lose my thought. I never lose my focus. I never, daydream. I never don't hear what people say, unless you didn't say it clear enough. It's not because I lost or unless I'm doing something that I'm concentrated on. But I'm ever here and now. Because I don't have all kind of rubbish in my head. Everything is guarded. Everything is controlled. Everything is put under shape. So when people begin to talk about me in the newspaper or in the internet and talk some rubbish and all their lies, some people will be telling me, Pastor, are you not concerned? Or will you reply, it's not part of my, I'm sorry, it's not in my 5 denomination. So when they come to me and say, have you seen the television program they just produced? It's not in my 5 something, television, I don't even watch it. It's not in my 5 something. Have you read the article? It's not in my 5 something. Hallelujah. Have you heard what that one said? What that one said? But it's not in my 5. I don't have time for it. Sha. System of control over your mind. You might not need to have 5, but have 2 or 3. Maybe your family, God, your education, 3. Finish. All others, they come after. then it makes you to be very focused. You don't use your mind doing rubbish. By the way, if you have not shared this message, please, everybody watching us on video on Facebook, please go ahead and share this message. You are free to share it. Go look under the video. Go look under the video, and you could share this message with for yourself, because the way for you to get a copy of this message is for you to share it. If you press the share button must be under the video. If you press that share button, then you'll be able to get a copy. A copy of it will come to your timeline, and then you could spread it. But if you share it, I want you to also write some comments or some remarks or some what you think about this message, so that other people might be able to watch it as well. But I still want to use this opportunity to address people who were not here last night. Last night's message, people said it's probably one of the most powerful messages that have ever been preached by any human being at all in our generation. So you want to go and get that message. It's called 15 Reasons Why We Pastors Must Change Our Message in the New Year. So it's yesterday night. Go look for it on our Facebook there. If you just go to the video section, you'll be able to see it. And you want to copy that to yourself as well and share it. Okay, next area where you need to exercise restraint is you want to use the power of restraint to rule and manage your environment. You want to use the power of restraint to rule and manage over your environment. Because the Bible says that bad company can corrupt even the best of manners. What is company? That's talking about environment, surrounding. So you want to have some forces, some great restraints, some restraint systems in place for you to make sure that your environment, that you don't permit anything in your environment that you have not permitted. And you don't permit in your environment anything that does not fall into those 5 categories that you have just mentioned. You create your environment so much that your environment is only for productivity. You manage your environment so that it will only be producing things that will be able to facilitate the passion and the vision that you have placed before yourself. Your environment is always facilitating you and your movement forward. Your environment is always facilitating your productivity. Your environment is always enriching you and multiplying you. Your environment is always increasing you. So you don't allow anything into that environment. Just like I showed you with that line, with the wall that we put together there. You must put that wall around your environment. And it's not because you are not friendly. And it's not because you don't like to joke. Me, I like to joke. I like to, to be fun, to have fun and something. But you have it in your environment. That's why I say I don't know where weddings are happening. If they want wedding for me to want to invite me to your wedding, come here. My environment rules over all. Or if I come to your wedding, then I will come there and bring my own order there. In your wedding, I'll be talking about goals and purposes. Yes. Not you invite me. Are you not the one who called me to come? Are you not the one who invited me? Hey, I don't come now. Yeah, I am. I'm here. But I come the way I am with my own environment. So, dictate your environment. Manage your environment. Be the Lord of your environment. Put the surveillance over your environment. Put the management over your environment. Make sure that your environment is always productive, working for you. Make sure that your environment is always working on your behalf and facilitating your increase and growth. So that it will not be said of you that the company spoils your vision or your manner, corrupts your manner or company. Or your vision. Next point where you need to use the power of constraint, apart from environment. You need the power of restraint to set up routines that will lead you and take you into your vision. you need the power of restraint to set up routine for yourself. What is a routine? Routines are automatic things, automatic functions, activities that you are engaging in that will automatically take you to the place that you want to go to. A set of activities that, for example, in my case, for example, I do this live broadcast twice a day. That's a routine right there. But that routine is not just some routine for nothing. No. It is setting me closer. Each one of them is taking me closer to the goal that I put before myself. So routine are the activities, set of activities that take you closer to your purpose. Another thing that I do is that I do trainings regularly, HMT like this, or other trainings regularly. Why? Those are routines that facilitate me to be able to bring to pass the goals and vision that I've set before myself. Every other thing, I don't just do things. Things I do, they're always leading to another. They are always having a goal. They are always connected to the vision. So don't just have activities in your life that you cannot even explain why you are doing it. If you are going to classrooms, it's because you know that going to the classroom will help you to get your diploma. To help you to become a medical doctor. That's why you are going there. If you are not going, if you cannot measure the result that this activity will give you at the end of the day, corresponding to your goal and vision, that's why you need restraints. And that's how many people are living. Some people have never even had this topic before. So they're just living the way it works out. You know who lives the way it works out? Grass. It just grows anywhere. Nuisance. Constitute nuisance everywhere for you. That's why they have cutlass, to get rid of them. So if you are just walking around and just fishing anywhere you want, just like grass, people will just be stamping on you. If you don't stamp on you, they will cut cutlass on your head. You are just being wasted. That's because you have not applied the power of constraints over your environment. And some of you are just, some of you are just even going to church. And there is no connection between that church they're going to or service they're going to and wherever they're going in life at all. They don't even understand. They just think, if I'm going to church, I will not go to hell. Who told you? Some of them cannot even explain to you why. Even they are bored, some of them. But they are still doing it all. A misguided life. Unexplainable activities. No activity must be unexplainable in your life. Everything must come under the power of restraint in your life. And all that must work towards those goals that you have already outlined for yourself. That is why those people you are seeing all this wall on all these walls, all these famous people, that's why they are effective. That's why we all talk about them today. But most of people who live in their generation, you don't even know what their names are. Or nobody remembers them. And our own, after we are gone to, only a few of us will be remembered. Those who lived and put their lives under the power of constraint. Other people have just, it's just like grass. Nobody knew that. How will you remember the grass? Billions of people that live on this planet, who remembers them? Nobody even cares. Even you are still alive now, nobody even know you are alive. Do you think that your country even know that you exist? They only know statistics. We are 50 million, 100 million, 200 million. And you might be one of them. They are not even aware of them. It's just numbers, statistics. Just statistics. 1 + 1, 2. And the reason you have been reduced to statistic, figure of speech. The reason we have been reduced to statistics and figures is just because you have not done something significant. Those who have managed their times and their lives and their time, they are a force their nation to count with them. And not just their nation, but their world also. Can you believe that this principle I'm teaching you, you want the window to be open? It's hot now? Okay, you want to open a little bit of the door. Now, let me tell you what. Do you know that Pastor Sunday that is sitting here with you, I have not left my house to travel abroad the last 8 years. In 8 years, I've not left Ukraine. I've not even left Kyiv. I've not even left my house. I only go to the church sometimes and to the court. I don't even go anywhere. But in that 8 years, I've written over 300 books. No, not 300. 200 books. In that 8 years, I've forced my whole world, like I'm talking, to not just know that there is someone like Pastor Sunday. I made them to be dependent on me, not leaving this household. Like I said, I just told you how many people follow me on Facebook. 250 million. That is our record. Almost quarter of a billion. Not leaving this household. Because you have put everything under the power of constraint, so that you constrain every other thing, so that it only facilitates goals, intentions, purpose. Everything begins to work for you. That's why you need the power of constraint. You don't need money, you don't need influence, you don't need... Create your own influence. If you can have control, have managed to know how to use the power of constraint, you can create everything you need. Is it money you need? You will use the force of constraint to create it. Is it influence you need? You will use the force of constraint to create it. Is it popularity you need? You can use the force of constraint to create it. Do you know that if we are going to count how many people have watched me the last 8 months just on Facebook alone, every day, in the average, 7,000 to 10,000 people in the morning, and they have for 8 months. Millions of people. And my Facebook, like I said, there's a guy I have here in my house. It's called Joshua. He's like working full time for this. Somebody called me and said, tell me to help. The person wanted me to help him to do blog. I said, go and meet Joshua. He's my assistant. After I speaking to Joshua, the lady came back to me from Spain and said, that your Joshua is a genius. I said, what's a genius? He said, remember the genius people like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, and Steve Jobs, that guy is one of them. Because he also is living in that same regime. Just like I am living in constraint atmosphere, constraint environment. That Joshua and even Pastor Sufficient was giving our own testimony to. Those are people that have learned the secret of living a constrained life. So are the power and force of constraints. How many have I given you points? 4. So another area where you must apply constraints is in what you do. Because time, you must apply constraint over your time. Make sure that you use the force of constraint to make sure that your every second, minute, hour, you are using it constructively. If you come to my house, in fact, parents is here. Come, parents. What is mommy doing when she's not with you, or she's not with me, with the family, she's not busy with the family doing? What is she constantly doing from morning till night? Or hi, or am I? Talk to them. What am daddy and mommy always doing in their free time? Either we are eating or toilet, everything. The same thing we are doing. Tell them.
Well, every time, as long as I could remember, as long as they've had these devices, laptops, computers, they're always listening to something. So our house is never quiet. You can always hear either from mom's room, from dad's room, either like in the dining room, there's always somebody speaking, and you don't know whose voice it is. When you come closer, you realize that mom and dad are always listening to something. Like, I can't tell you the last time I saw my dad eating without watching and listening to something. That's like impossible to remember. So they're always improving on themselves. Whenever I see my dad in his room, he's either watching something or reading an article. Same with my mom. Whenever we're even going in a car somewhere, she's always has a video already recorded that she's watching even in the car. So my parents are always working, always improving on themselves. They're never resting, and they're always focused on those.
So you don't allow minutes to go by you without being productive. You force and compel every hour to be productive, to bring you some results. It is you who should lay a demand on it. You put a demand on time to produce for you. You put a demand on your day to produce for you. And when you are really good, you put a demand on every minute to produce something for you. And that's the power of constraint. Thank you, Perez. So use the power and force of constraints over time to dominate time. Just like God told us, have dominion over. I just remember something and my heart just breaks. Each time I try to watch Nigerian television, my heart just breaks. Either they are doing entertainment, RB or what they call it. R what? R&B. Either they are doing R&B everywhere. Everybody just having fun. Everybody just having good time. The whole country. And then you are talking about economic recession. What else do you expect? When your life is all about jumping around and just having fun and being high, of course, you are going to have economic depression. Because nobody is producing. And then, either they are having that R and what? R and B everywhere. Or they are arguing. They are just arguing. They are just talking. Everybody just arguing. They are not converting time into products. Days pass like that. Hours pass like that. Months pass. Years pass. They are not converting anything. They don't apply the force and power of restraint to work for them and to benefit them. And the same thing people do in churches. So you go to church, this is the day for 3 hours. Lives have just been wasted. Everybody is helping everybody to kill life. Church is helping people to kill time. Television is helping people to kill time. And though that is life, they are killing you, say. And then they will be going to church. Those pastors will be preaching the same thing. And they will say, Rema, there is this, I didn't see that way before. But nothing to help you be productive. Repeating, everybody just repeating with their own grammar and their own emotion different. And different suits all the time. But instead of using that to convert time into something tangible for the kingdom of God. So you must be determined to be different. You must be determined to be different. You must take charge of your life. And be determined that you will leave your record. You will leave your memory in the sand of times. You will leave your own footprint in the sand of times. That you will not just live like that. And everything depends on how much you succeeded in converting time. And only the power of constraint will help you to be able to do that. In fact, I even have an impression in Africa that if you are going to subdue time by always reading or self-developing, they will say maybe somebody have wanted you to go crazy. They might even think that you have lost interest in life, that you are the one not living. But on the other hand, you are the one living. They will think you are not enjoying, but you are the one really enjoying, because you are making sense of life. It's sad. The next area where you must apply the power and force of restraint is in responding to calls from people, interferences, telephone, messages, mails. Make sure you organize these things. Like, for example, I reply my letters once or twice a week. That's it. And I personally I don't use telephone so much. I got rid of telephone. I don't have telephone again. I use Skype, but I only use them constructively. For people and with people who are facilitating my direction, my goals. So make sure that you use restraint to manage all distractions from friends and visitors and calls and all those things. Devices, all this smartphone and planchette and Facebook and all things that are not healthy and are not facilitating your goal and to move faster to your goal and purpose. Reduce them. Use the power of restraint to put them under control, and just do things that are moving you closer to where you intend to be. Next point. I don't know how to say this, but at least I will say this to those watching me on Skype. Use the power of restraint to learn to say no, especially in regards to your church activities. If a church is demanding that you have to come to church every day of the week, make you use your head, though. That's what I heard these days. That pastors will intentionally put activities like every day of the week. How could you do that? In fact, I even heard that right now, all over Nigeria and everywhere, that people are coming to church for 3 months. They tell their members, you have to come every day from November, December, January. And in some places, December, January, February. You must be in church by all means. And then when you come, you must come with offering. I said, my God, though. And these people are so God-fearing that they think if they disobey, they will disobey God. Because then they tell them you will miss your blessing for the new year. Yes, that you will not get it, whatever anointing the man was bringing. So that's why I just want to make sure, put this in. You need moral courage. And you need this power and force of restraint to be able to say, no, I put myself back. If I need to go to church, I go to church maybe once or twice a week. And if I have money, that's it. If I don't have money, I don't bring money every day to. In fact, some people are having services 2-3 times a day, and you must bring an offering for those 2-3 times a day. Exploitation. So anyway, this is the world. This is the way the world is. And it's not just church world. It's all the world around us. Everybody is fighting for you to exploit you, to take dominion of you, to take advantage of you. If you don't take control and take charge over your own life, that is what the whole world is looking for. Looking for people who are free. who are too gullible to take control of their own lives so that they will manage your life for you. But they will manage it the way they want for their own goals and purposes only. And you just jeopardize your destiny. And you'll be thinking you are faithful to God or faithful to man of God or faithful to something. But your vision and your purpose in life is paramount. It's more important than any other person's project. But you need the power of constraint to be able to do that. How many have I given you? 7? 7, right? Okay, the last one. Make sure you have time to rest or a recreational time for yourself, but learn to use your creational time or vacation time to be productive as well. Even though you are resting, even though you are partying or whatever you are doing, you could still make it to be a creative time, to still work for your good, to still work for your purpose, towards your purpose and goals. So even when you are relaxed and when you are resting and when you are playing or when you are doing hobby or something, find a way, find creative way to grow at that time, to listen at that time, or to exhort other people at that time, or to be exhorted at that time, or to disciple. Okay, for example, I met this new year, for example, I was talking to one of my members, and I was saying, what are you doing in the new year? Oh, she said, oh, I am meeting with my team. We have a whole set of programs that we put together. This day we are going to the cinema together to watch some documentaries, and then we are coming together after that. We are going to do a big banquet, and going to discuss what we saw and how we could use that to accomplish our goal. Is that not beautiful? The other one, he said, okay, oh, we are going to the camp. We are going to some, whatever they call it, bowling. So we are going to do teamwork in doing bowling, and after that we are using that to bound as bounded. You see. Then the next day we are going to have night vigil together, but night vigil with eating and also praying and eating, so that we'll be able to present to God our plans for the next year, and when we are going to sit down and brainstorm and pray over it, and that's their night vigil. Is that not beautiful? So use your creational time, your off time, your rest time to facilitate your movement to your goals as well. Let's give the Lord a round of applause. So propel your life. Or what was the word I used that I said I liked? Catapult your life forward in this new year with the power of restraints. Did anybody receive anything? Yes. Now our time for the program is over for you people on Facebook, but if you want, we could keep it on because we are still going to continue here. Should I put it off or I should just keep it rolling? I want to hear you people from Facebook. And meanwhile, don't forget to share the link, please. Let's go ahead and share the link, share the video. So under this video, you will see the share button. If you have not yet do it, please go ahead and share the video, please. Go ahead and share the video. We are going to continue we are going to do the interactive part now. So everybody is saying keep it on, right? Keep it on, keep it rolling. Okay. Where is Frank? Now your job be that. All right. Now what we are going to do is that I need a few of you, maybe 5, 10 people, to raise up your hands and tell me what you think you got for yourself from this teaching, and what do you think this could do for you. or what you are going to use it for. You should give me a feedback. You know, what you got, what is happening to you, what's going on in your mind right now. If you don't do it, if I don't get 5, 10 people on time, some people already know what is happening. How do you know? Now you are outsmart me. Okay, where are the people? Fast. 1, 2, 3. Come here. Out. Out. If you are not walking fast enough, you are gone, no? Would somebody take all these ones away? Okay, 2 of you, take that one somewhere. Yeah, you are lost your focus. You should be looking at there what you are showing. You are not showing the thing. You know there are human beings there. Okay, go to the wall, towards the wall. It will be easier for you to be able to. You'll be showing the hall sometimes and us sometimes. Okay, you are the number 1. What's your name? Jumai Mohammed. Okay, so what is happening? Come here so that your voice is too low. You are speaking for the television too, so you have to make it loud.
Okay. Today I got that you should use the power of restraint to control your mind. For example, before I heard about this message, I was victim to the letting daydreams take over and getting lost.
Even me, I can't understand what you are saying. And they cannot hear you at the back. Are you sick? Talk now.
I learned that you should use the power of restraint to control your thoughts and what goes on in your mind. Before I got this message, like I was victim to daydreaming and getting lost.
I was doing what?
Victim. A victim.
I was a victim.
Yeah.
Hey, pronounce it no more. Say it so that we will understand what you are saying. Oh, that is the Joshua I was talking about. Oh, that's the guy who doesn't know him. That's the hero.
I was a victim to daydreaming and getting lost in thoughts. But from this message, I've learned the importance of controlling what goes on in your mind and having up to 3 or 5 policies that you should always be constantly thinking about so you can achieve your goal and the goal that God has for you also.
Will you translate for her? Yeah, I don't understand anything. Say it again. You have to start all over again. Because we have to teach you, look, you are going to take on your world. You are not going to be student forever. How old, can you tell your age? Is it prohibited? Okay, how old are you? 21. You are not going to be 21 forever. So if you are going to say, I learned this, you must be a personality. Know what you want. Focus in you are coming here for training also. Forgive me. I'm not always like this. But now this is training. It is history makers training. Learn to be firm. Learn to speak. What you are doing when you come out here is not for you to just say something and satisfy your own self. Your concern is to make sure that people understand you. You must communicate. You see, when I'm speaking like this and shouting and trying to pronounce everyone one by one, it's not because that's the way it's convenient for me. It's because that is the way it will be easier for them to fathom, to understand what I'm saying. So always have their own interest at mind, at heart. The interest of the one that is at the back there. The interest of the one that is not from Nigeria. The interest of the one that doesn't understand your accent. You've got to think about service, stewardship. So what you are sharing is not just about you. It's about sharing your experience that you will also be a blessing at the same time. And then that is also developing your leadership qualities. It's helping you to be firm. It's helping you to be decisive. It's helping you to be human. Stand straight. No more. Don't look sickly and weakly as if you are coming from concentration camp. Be awake. Be alert. Be human. Be self-confident. Cause the world to respect you. Be a personality. I'm going to call my 13-year-old one day to come and talk. Force yourself to be respected. That is also constraint. You don't do what is convenient for you. The losers in life are the people who can afford to do how it's convenient for them. That's why they're losers. Winners in life, they force themselves to be how they need to be. Losers do what is convenient. Winners do what is not convenient, but what is necessary. So start all over again. What's the name again? Jumai? Please, Jumai. Like I said, forgive me. It's not. Where are you going? You are going to your place or what? Ah, okay. You want to be normal.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Excellent. Beautiful. Yeah, we'll give you a few minutes first.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Precious Obuna, and I'm a final year student of Vinitsa Medical.
I'm not hearing you here.
Okay, sir.
And you are big, you should talk. You have the weight behind you. Put the weight behind you.
Yes, sir. Okay. So, from this session...
I don't want you to cry also.
No, it's not going to happen. Okay, from this session, I
learned yes, now that you are talking.
A couple of things. And first, I learned how to place constraints on my thoughts, on my thought process.
Excellent.
I can care about the things going on around me, but I don't have to place my thoughts on them. I don't have to focus on things that are not important to me. And that's one. The second is, as much as...
okay. Let me tell you one thing. Your size is your blessing.
Wow.
Jesus. No, thank you. You got to believe it. You got to believe it. You got to believe it. It's serious. Your size is your blessing. With her, she is smallish, and she has to exert a lot of energy to even be able to raise her voice and be able to produce that kind of vocal sound that you could do. But you are already blessed by God with good sound. You must use that to exert your will and your thoughts upon the audience. You must be able to control the environment more than I can do it. You could be an opera singer. And who has taught you to be timid and to be weak when you are supposed to, you have been built by God to be strong. You've been given the weight, you've been given the size. Use it to your advantage. Everything. Don't believe the people in the newspaper or in the television saying if you are big, then you are disadvantaged. That is a lie. God knows your destiny. God knows what you need to do. God knows where your advantages lie. What are your advantages? Use it. Use it proudly. Don't stand timid. If you are big, that's your trump card. That's your trump card. Use it to assert yourself. Walk about confidently. Throw yourself to people. Can't let people count with you. Your confidence must be like 10 times like the one you have right now. You are underrating yourself. And you'll meet God one day because I gave you the potential. I gave you the size. I gave you the energy. I gave you but you are putting it down by yourself. It's another thing for her. She has to take it from somewhere. But you already have it. Confidence must be oozing out of you. Energy, power must be coming out of your words. Please, start all over again.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Precious, a final year student of Vinitsa Medical University, and I'm here to talk about what I learned from today's session. I learned about the thought process, about putting restraints on my thought process, about not caring, not focusing on things that have no bearing or no importance to me. About learning how I learned that I need to make sure that my thoughts.
Excellent. Now you are getting it. You're getting there. You started getting there now. Beautiful. Beautiful. You are just about to enter into it right now. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Basically, my thought is where everything about me starts, and the rest of it has to start from my thoughts first. So if I have no control over my thoughts, then I cannot have control over my life. That's the first thing I learned. Then secondly, I learned that I have to control my society. I have to control what I think people think about me. I have to control what I think the society expects of me. I shouldn't do things that society expects. I should do what I need to do in that situation. That's the second. And then I learned that I have to control my time.
Beautiful.
I have to control my time. I have
now
to
we are
learn
seeing
how
the real.
to...
What's your name again?
Precious.
We are seeing the real Precious coming now. But she has suppressed and hide as real self before. Satan, eh? We are going to give Satan a beating. You wait. By the time we are through, we are going to give Satan a beating. Deceiving people and putting them down. Satan is going to pay for everything. Because I started to see a beautiful you. I started to see a confident you. You know, your beauty is relevant. It's relative, directly relative to your confidence.
Yeah.
It is your confidence that informs your beauty. So let that confidence just begin to flow like it's flowing right now.
So thirdly, I learned about my time. I have to learn how to control my time, how to balance my time, and how to make sure my time is distributed to things that are important and not to things that are not important. To make sure that each hour and each second of my day is used creatively, is used to improve me. And then this still joins back to the thought process, because improving me is going to... This was one thing that got to my head immediately. Improving me is improving the rest of my world. If I am not improved, then my world is not improved. That's what I learned. And I'm going to make sure that I put this in my medical career. I entered into medicine because I watched my aunt. She's dead now. But I watched her and I loved the way she was paid very, very badly. Like, her pay was horrible, but she went to work with happiness. And that was what made me want to get into medicine. And then when I finally got into medicine, at some point in my life, I wanted to stop. But then this has got me to understand that I don't have to just do what everybody else does. It might make sense to only me, but this is me. I don't have to do what everybody else does to get to where they are. I have to do what improves the rest of the people.
Yes.
And then when I do it, and if I put a restraint over every part of my life, then I'll be able to do what others haven't been able to.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Juma. Thank you. My name is Jumai Mohammed. I'm a fourth-year student of...
Oh, look who came. That's my wife. Oh. Hello, princess. Make it fun now. You know, I was telling you people that my wife just came and he was putting the camera on me. Huh? You don't know the... You should know who is the Controlling the movement. Who the hero is at the right time. When she comes in like that, I cease to be the hero, she ceases to be the hero, everything goes back to her. Yes, Jumai.
I'm a fourth-year student of Vinita Medical University. Firstly, from this session, I've learned how to be more confident in 1 minute and expressing myself, making a stronger entrance, and learning to be more confident. Also, from this session, I've learned that your mind can also be a brothel. Like, just letting anything pass through, it's like you can also compare yourself to people that we put down so much as prostitutes. Like, you should learn how to build a border, like Pastor showed us the two borders over distractions, how not to let entropy take over, like how not to let so many things get into your head so that you don't know which one your goal is, where you're going to. That you should learn to build a wall so that you can get your goal, and also the goal that God has placed for you. And also learned about time, how to divide your time, use sensibly. Like, you don't just have activities just for having activities' sake. Like, you should have activities that will build you, and you should have activities that will add more to your goal. And about the mind, you should have like 3 to 5 things that we want to achieve. We should not just have just any goal. Like, we just shouldn't have any goal. We should have like 3 to 5 policies that and I think that those 3 to 5 goals should not just be like your own inner desire. You should get informed. Like, you should go into prayer. You should get it from God also. Like, it should not just be your own desires or what you want to do. Or if you feel like, okay, I can impact. Okay, if you feel like you're compassionate, you feel like, okay, I can go out and help people or give people. If God hasn't directed you to do that, then I don't think like you should go out and just start to help people out. That's what I learned from this.
Excellent. Brilliant. I hope you will maintain what you just learned. You will not throw it away. You maintain it. You will go away from this conference, from this HMT, and never let it go anymore. You know, keep it with you. Let it stay with you for life, and improve on it as well. Okay, bro.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Pastor. So very quickly, I'll just say a few things that I learned from
Tell us what your name is,
this
right?
section. Yeah. My name is Stanley, and I'm from Odessa. Before I start, please, I just want to thank Pastor Joshua. Yeah, I knew about the program because of him. So please, if you don't mind, can you help me celebrate? So very quickly, I learned so much in this section, but I want to pick out a few points that are personal to me. And the first thing is that Pastor Sunday said that we have to build constraint to guide our aspirations and desire. Now, this is very important to me, sir, because as a human being, when you get a goal, there are a lot of things that can distract you. Right now, we're living in an age where anywhere you look, there's a distraction. Then you have your mobile phone or your laptop. There's always a distraction. As a matter of fact, church itself is a distraction. Yes. School can be a distraction. So, like he said, you have to build a constraint. One thing I learned from what he said is that constraints are something you build consciously. They don't just happen. These are something that you build knowingly and consciously. So when you build constraints towards your goal, what it helps you do is that even when you lose, as human beings sometimes we lose zeal, even when you lose zeal, you don't fall off. You like fall to the wall and then you come back. You don't. So It helps you. But when you don't build constraint, everywhere becomes a direction. Once you fall to this side and you look to this side, you just keep
becomes a
going down.
direction.
Everywhere becomes a direction. So
That's well said.
as a human being, we have to build constraints so that we can be focused on our particular goal and our purpose. So that's the first point. Another thing I learned that I took so personal is he spoke about mind. That we have to build constraints to our mind. Now, I believe that everything in this world started from the mind. Started like the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Now, what you speak came from what you had inside. Now, what you speak will eventually become your habits or character, which will eventually become you. Do you understand? So if you guide your heart, if you put a constraint to the things that you think. Now imagine, like Pastor Sunday said, that imagine you have just 3 things that you focus all your life thinking about. Your outcome will be sharp. Your outcome will be very, very, very sharp. So what I learned is, there are so many things that I think about. I'm not even going to lie to you. Either I'm thinking about football, or there are a lot of distractions, and we can't tell. We are youths. Do you understand? But now I will consciously build a constraint. Now anything that is not pushing me towards my goal is going out. It's going out. And the third thing that he spoke about is time. The way he said it, Pastor, you made me understand that life don't have too many things to offer, only one, and that thing is time. Now, it depends on you to convert time to anything that you want out of life. Now, time is like a currency, but it's like, how would I put it? This place, they change money. You go, when you give...
know the change.
Yes, sir. When you go, you convert it to what you want. Time is the only thing that gives everything. So, if you put constraint on your time, like what your son said, it made me run mad. I was thinking, seriously, sir, I don't know if this is humanly possible for somebody to convert every second of his time to do something reasonable. It sounds easy, but it's not easy. And I know that it's from a long work of building constraint, and you got, as in you mastered it. I don't know but because you can do it, sir, I will be able to do it. Amen. And I will do it. So these are the 3 things that were very, very personal to me, and I know I walk by this, and my life is getting ready to change. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Good evening, everyone. Everyone has said everything, and I just have one thing to say, and it's very powerful for me. You know, what a way to start a year. And the most powerful thing I got this evening is the power of restraint is not just for sin. Because for me, I feel that was the only thing I was just focusing on, how to restrain myself from erring against the ways of the Lord. But I also learned that I can use it to push me to that very place I want to go. For me, that's the most powerful, because we are so conscious of not sinning against God. Whereas the same energy can be converted to take us to that very place. Because as Pastor was speaking, it was just the picture of Jesus that's on my mind. Seeing that Jesus was conscious about everything. He restrained his movement, everything he wanted. Jesus was not conscious about sin, but yet he overcame sin flawlessly. For me, that's powerful.
I just hope that all of us will learn from each other as well. And we are receiving wisdom from every quarter. And what someone is learning, we could also use it to strengthen our own self and to sharpen our own understanding and to add it to what we are learning. And we could also come out, more people could come out to share what they are learning, so that iron sharpeneth iron. And so that what I'm learning is helping you, what you are learning is helping me as well. Beautiful.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Anastasia McDonald, and I want to share my understanding regarding the restraints and our environment. What I'm about to say is very, very important, because You just need to understand where I'm coming from. So I was born, well, not born, but I grew up as a very quiet, very intimidated person. And it was a time where my mom used to tell me, even used to beg me to open my mouth and talk. So what I'm about to say is on behalf of people who are quiet, people who are introverts, people whose introversion is used as a curse or is looked down upon or is frowned upon. So when it comes to the environment, I have learned from Pastor Sunday that it's a beautiful thing. Being a quiet person for me and my environment means that I can retreat into my house, my space, my world, do self-education, do all the education and empower myself, then come out and share it with the world. That is me. And so my introversy is not a disgrace. It is not something to be frowned at. Actually, it is something very beautiful. So I've learned that I don't owe anybody an apology. When I retreat for hours and hours and hours, I'm in my secret place. I am empowering myself. I'm using that time for self-education. I realize that God has made me this way, the power to be able to retreat for a long time. But when I come out with power. And I affect people deeply, intently. So that's what I've learned this evening. The power of constructing yourself as an introvert to empower masses of people. Thank you.
Anastasia, people, all your friends are sending you greetings from here. Ngoya Sharis is greeting you. Gift Blessing Amos. Elizabeth Ali said, that is my queen. Joyce Arrow, they are greeting you. Ola Martin. Everybody is just extending their love to you. Yes, please.
So good evening.
Evening.
Good evening. So I'm Dr. Lavanya. I'm from India and I
Dr. Lavanya, I have a lot of people now watching me and following me from India, not just today, but every day. Somebody comes every day from India watching. And yesterday, someone was telling me that he knows a lot of people in India who are watching my program. I don't know, maybe because is it a good time it's coming out in India or what? I don't know how they got it, but
It's probably because the internet runs better this time because it's 12 a.m.
I see.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of things are happening these days because the other day I was at the parlor and I told somebody that I heard Sinach. Sinach, am I pronouncing? Yeah. So I heard her.
In Ukraine here?
No, back home in India. Yeah, and I was so amazed that really you guys are listening to this and things like that. So
wow.
We're not just in a box. Yeah. So today, well, last but not the least, right? So everybody said a lot of things today, and the same thing. Yeah, I want to rephrase what he said about time. He said that there will be a point in your life where each minute in your life will be productive. So I think by the grace of God, every one of us who are wanting to procure whatever goals we have in our lives, I wish that we can be as productive as that even thinking it is a big thing, that you can be productive every minute. You don't have to move around. You can make phone calls. Influences are there. There's always positivity everywhere if you work well. So that's one thing.
Even thinking about it, right? So it means that there are millions, maybe billions of people don't even know that is possible.
Yes. Yeah, so the next thing is about the environment, he said. I think environment plays a very important role. Just like Pastor Anastasia said, she's talking on behalf of all the introverts who are present here, or watching, because it takes a lot to come up on stage or to talk in front of people, even if you're 10 in number, because no matter how confident you are, if the environment you are living in, even for example, 2 years, brings you down. It really brings you down.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it until your environment changes. So I think environment is a very important element.
Louder, please. They are saying louder. They can't hear you well.
So yes, I think environment is a very essential element to our growth, to procuring our goals, to achieving the things we have set up in our future. Then there was another thing that Pastor Sunday said about marriage. I don't know every female's age in this place, but it's a big stigma back home, and
In Africa too.
in Africa too. But I'm sure you guys are more liberal than us. Our own is to another level. You know, they will curse you, and there's so many things. I'm sure people who are watching will agree. So this whole thing about you getting married and you must get married to this person, or you must get married because you're 30 and 32 or 34, and what people are going to say, and you've not achieved anything in your life. You get married, then you have kids, and then your kids are cursing you because you're cursing them every day. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's a very good point that he made. That you need to first build yourself.
Yes.
Because that's one thing that my mother always says, that once you have your feet firm in the ground, it's only then you go ahead and say I do.
So, but your mom is coming from that society as well.
Because she's a working woman as well.
So she knows better.
Yes. So I think that's a very good thing that he said, that you make yourself up first, then you get married, and then you plan on what you want to do with the love. Then also I don't know whether it's the last, it's just coming to me, so I'm putting it that way. There were things that he said, the five things that he keeps in his mind. Yeah. So the first thing he said was, it was very obvious that the first thing he would say is how to love God more. That's something I expected, of course. The second thing he said, sure. The second thing he said was how to love my family. And I think we forget our family. As we are trying to serve God, we see how to look outside the house, and we don't look in our walls. And I think that's a very good thing for a man of his caliber to say, because if we love ourselves, God, and our family first, it's only then you look outside to help someone. So that's something else, because I've seen a lot of people who in the name of serving God, look outside, but their family is suffering, or you don't want to even look at what they're doing. Your child is crying, you don't care, you want to go and help a widow out or something, those kind of things. So I think that's a very something that gives me a lot of what to think about. I think all of us should think about that as well, because family is always first. No matter what it is, blood is always thicker than water. That's what we should always remember, So yes, that's what I can think of right now.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Damilola, and I'm a student, a fifth-year student of Vinica Medical University. First of all, thank you, Pastor, for this session. It was very, very useful. And I'll tell you, it was really very useful. Talking about timing has always been one of my
Weak points?
weak points, yes. Timing. the distance from my house
What
to
do
the
you
school.
call your name again?
Oluwadamilola, sir.
I just want to know if there is any shorter version of it. Because just for people who are watching from different countries to be able to get it. Dami.
Yes.
Okay, she's Dami just for the Facebook audience to know.
Okay, I was talking about the distance from my house to the school takes about 30 to 35 minutes. That's by bus. And apparently, it takes about 10 minutes for me to leave my house to the bus stop. And as I was sitting there, I was thinking about it that, wow, so like 10 minutes of my time every day is just going by, just thinking round and just thinking about this, that there's no
Purposeful plan,
there's
program.
no plan at all. Like I'm thinking about school, or I'm thinking about my friend, or I'm thinking about my sister, I'm thinking about my family. Like everything
Anything
is just,
that's come to the head.
everything that's coming, yeah. Just thinking, but thinking is not bringing that much
Results.
product. Yes.
Yeah, product. No
Much
concrete
results.
product.
And I thought to myself that okay, how can I actually just help myself? And I said, okay, I'll make it as a routine. Yes, it's going to be difficult at first because having to cultivate a habit it could sound easy, but having to do it is. I told myself that okay, I would want to try this thing. 10 minutes of my time walking from my house to my bus stop. I want to think about the issue of having to have 3 things or 5 things just on your mind is mind-blowing. I said, okay, even though I already have like 2 things already that I already have in my mind, but I think when I actually go back, I should be able to just sit down and actually just write these things down. And I said, okay, I would actually just make use of this my time. Hey, Damilola, time is going, like time is just going. The seconds now, I can't really get it back. So I will try as much as possible.
Do you know, Damilola, that is actually why the rich people, really successful people, try always to have a driver. And not because they cannot drive. But when you are really rich, it's not because you can stop driving, you cannot drive yourself. But they value time at another level. So the 2 hours they would have spent driving on daily basis, that 1 hour for them is $1,000 maybe. Then the 2 hours, it means $2,000. That's their time. That's how much their time is costing. So because they could be converting that same 1 hour to and fro, using it to produce products that are even going to be much more than the 1,000. So they would rather use out of that 1,000 of their salary one day, 1 hour, that's just 1 hour of their day is 1,000. They would rather pay 2 hours, 1 day of their salary, of their hours, 2 hours of their hours, 1 day, to pay for 1 month the driver. The driver is receiving $2,000 a month. That is just 1 day for them. Instead of using 30 days, 2 hours, 30 days wasted driving, they could be producing things that will be much more valuable, products every day. That 2,000 that they pay him in a month, they are producing it and retaining it and multiplying it every day, 30 times. So, because the people who understand the value of conversion and the value of time, that's what they do. That's how they use their time. They use wisdom. They use money to buy time. So, by paying the driver $2,000 a month, they are buying back that time. But they are not just buying that back 2 hours. They are buying back a whole month that they would have used driving, not doing anything, just doing emotional things that, instinctively, that instinct could do. So they could use that to buy a driver that they will pay less, and then instead of they paying 2,000, but they are making maybe 200,000 for that same time. Because time is the product from which everything else is made. Time is the product from which money is made. Time is the raw materials that produces every other thing. Time is the raw material from which money is made. Time is the raw materials from which people, children are made. Human beings are made. Everything is created out of time. If you know the power of time, you will know that your time could be converted to create everything you need. As a matter of fact, if there is something that you don't have today, it's because you have not spent your time to buy it. If you have not spent the currency of time to buy what you need, that is why you don't have it. But anything you have and possess today also is because you have taken your time to procure it, to buy it. Or you have spent time to make money, but you are spending time to make money. Like, for example, when they pay you salary, it's because you have spent a certain amount of days, time. Then they pay you, they return money for it. So you exchange your time for money. That is how you exchange time for everything you need as well. So time is the thing, is the currency through which you can procure and possess and buy anything you need. So time is the most valuable thing you could ever possess. So that is brilliant. So spending 2 hours or 30 minutes to and fro every day and not doing anything, just battling with all kind of rubbish thoughts that are coming to your mind, is a waste. And you could have done so much more. And that's why what my son said about my wife and about myself, that is why we are living like that. And that's all his life. That's what he has said. So it's not by accident that we have the kind of life that we have. So brilliant that you noticed that.
And I learned to, there are actually so much things actually. I learned to say no.
Brilliant.
Yes, I learned to say no, and I learned to more of like, to learn how to structure myself, know when to say yes and know when to say no, having to balance school and having to balance church, having to also balance, having to communicate with people, with my friends, with people around me. I also learned one important thing about having to respond to calls. It's very important to me because having to respond to calls even it improves me in a way, and having to respond to calls that there's no how, if you don't say, just call this person and this person is impacting impacting knowledge, is impacting something that you actually need for the future. So I've learned to always, it's not every time that you just, I'm bored, let me call this person will keep me company, and the time is wasting like that. So I actually learned to always have the right people to call. I can call my dad, yes, and we'll have something to talk about, yes, but people around me also, here in Ukraine, who I can even go and meet self, this is actually going on, this particular thing is actually going on. Like, people that will just impact your life in a way. Yes, I have friends that will gist and this and while away time, but sometimes that you actually need something.
And you don't necessarily need to call people. You could actually be in your room in Ukraine, in your dormitory, and become the best friend to Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg. Or just by getting their material. Internet is now everywhere. You could be the best friend of anybody in the world. You could be in your room. There are some people now who are here right now watching me who say that Pastor Sunday's voice is more heard in their house than the voice of even themselves. Yes. They said because we are constantly filling our lives with material. So we are not wasting any time and we are learning constantly. We are building ourselves up. Thank you. Bless you.
Good evening. Yes, I'm Yuriti once again. I've heard everything everyone has said, and these are the things that I also learned. But there is one that was not mentioned, and I think that's my situation right now. Not that I am not sure I have gotten the solution, but I think That's why
It will
I'm
bless
here.
other people.
Yeah, it will bless other people. You know, there was this illustration Pastor made about the walls. You know, I didn't consciously like have things or 5 things that I want to concentrate in life. But I think my passion and love for God kind of built the walls, you know, for me to an extent, you know, though, of course, you know, calls, Facebook, you know, there are things that distract me out of it, but basically I stay within those walls, and, you know. But there's this part he mentioned where I believe I am right now, and it's painful to the point of, I'm just holding back tears, is the fact that he said, you see, at a point, sometimes it's like the walls collapse. You know, the same walls you've built to protect yourself, now sometimes maybe they collapse, and then you're trying to go in between, and it's like the same walls are like, you're just trying, there's no, it's like in trying to get everything, just searching, and since I've been here, I've been trying, I've been gaining so much. I have this, it's like a clock, I don't know how to describe it in my head. It's not usual. This is my 4th time here, and each time I come, I always experience, I say, open heavens. You know, my mind is free, it's clear. I'm just experiencing God from the moment I enter, you know. But it's like all the burdens that I have to do this, to do that, you know, children that are waiting for me, Nigeria, television show that must go on, maybe those things, I don't know. They are all there. I can almost say like demons that are just worrying this head, but I know they are not demons. You know, it's just my thoughts are not clear. So it's like
they are not organized.
They are not organized.
They are not organized. You have not put a system of restraint over your mind. Mm-hmm. That is where the problem is. And when we live that life, can you imagine living a life and not putting your mind under constraint? You're just suffering. You are even suffering yourself. You yourself, you are a victim, and then you are the one that is being oppressed as well. And you are still, you know, it's so sad. It's painful. I understand your pain.
So at this point, that's just where I am. I know all the reasons why they should not be there, but somehow
you must just sit down and be able to say, these are my priority, my 3 or 5 things that I will allow myself to think about. And all others are out of this. From today, then you begin the discipline, because it will not happen one day. It will take a process. So you take the process and you begin to monitor yourself and use the power and force of restraint to discipline yourself, to guide yourself, and to help yourself to keep yourself under that particular restraint that you have, the priority that you have set for yourself.
Evening church. I just want to share today what I learned. I was really motivated by each and every point, because I've been going through a season of my life where I've been wondering why things weren't working out the way I wanted them to work out. And really, I didn't know how to move forward, and I didn't know what were the steps that I needed to take.
What's your name again?
Zoe.
Zoe?
Yes.
Wow. That's I have a daughter by that same name.
Wow. I didn't know the steps to take. And then he said something about responding to calls. For example, I like to consider myself as a social network addict. Like sometimes I can be on Instagram, sometimes I can be on Facebook. And you see during that time...
They're not hearing you, your voice is not.
Like sometimes I can be on Facebook, sometimes I can be on Instagram, like for a whole hour, and see that after that I actually didn't do anything productive. And I asked myself, okay, what exactly was I doing? So Pastor today, he just mentioned about using those things constructively, like how he does Facebook live videos, and now he has over 250 views, or million views. Sorry, a million views. And there's something also that he said, restraint is a thing that will take your latent energy and put it in and catapult you to the future. So what I thought about was a rubber band. And with the rubber band, it has latent energy. And if you focus it, it'll catapult. I won't catapult you. It'll catapult you to the future. And if you stretch that rubber band, it has these two boundaries that he was talking about. So those boundaries will be the focus when you shoot it. And he also mentioned about
that is the secret of David, right?
yeah. He also spoke about having time for yourself, like recreational time. Sometimes, when you're a successful person, you think, okay, maybe if I'm having recreational time, I'm not being productive. But he said in that recreational time, be productive, meet with people, organize and move forward. So yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, guys. Значит, завтра вы позвольте им, чтобы они успели отдохнуть, чтобы мы могли метать через передача, будет учение и сразу это самое, чтобы они, чтобы у них было нормальное время, чтобы хватало у них. So I hope you got something for yourself, everybody. Not just the people who came out, but every one of us, right? Yes. And get ready for tomorrow. And are you reading? I'm sure they've told you about the book story. And so do your best. And with the time that you are here, maximize it. Again, sorry if I'm going to be, correcting you and really firm, because you might not have the second chance any longer. You might never have the opportunity of coming to learn from me and also. So, to take advantage of the time you are going to be here and, learn as much as possible and make sure that your life never becomes the same. All right. Thank you. Okay, now to my Facebook audience. To my Facebook audience, I want to say now I will be ready to let you go. Today is the end of the class with the students here, and I'll be back tomorrow morning as usual, and we'll try to see if we could have some longer class and opportunity for you to learn as well. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and don't forget to go share the link. If you have not yet shared the link, everyone, share the link and let other people know that they could be blessed by this, and write something for them. Write some, remarks and some comments in your sharing where you share so that people could be able to receive. All right. And don't forget the last night's message, like I said, 15 reasons why we pastors must change our message in the new year. Okay? God bless you all. Good night. Bye.